I've never heard anything more fucking codependency enabling in my whole life, right? It's basically an instruction manual for trauma bonding, which is like one of the most intense imprisonments that you can experience as a human being. Greetings everyone, this is BlackWitchDirah here with another video. Thank you for joining me here today. So first off, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. This is my first sort of big YouTube milestone, which is awesome. I never have intended for my channel to be like a big thing. I mean, it's not a big thing, but like for me 1,000 subscribers is such a big deal, and yeah, I'm really thankful for that. And I don't know, like my YouTube channel has never been kind of like a main focus. It's kind of just been this other space for people who, you know, follow me on like Instagram and TikTok to just like get more of an insight into me and what I'm about and what I do. And yeah, I'm just really like pleasantly surprised that it's got to this point, so thank you so much. I also mentioned a video or two ago that as a kind of thank you for 1,000 subscribers, I was going to do like a free spell tutorial or something on my channel. So obviously I'm going to be doing that, but let me know in the comments just some ideas about the kind of thing you'd like me to do with that. And I was thinking I'm going to do this kind of thing for every 100 or so subscribers I get, just because I think it will, yeah, just add some more to my channel. It won't just be sitting here talking, and yeah, I just want to spice up my channel a bit. So yeah, let me know of some ideas that you guys have in the comments, and I will have a look at those and decide what I'm going to do. So a couple more announcements before we get into today's video topic. So the Dark Arts Academy has closed for this month as of today. Now I did want to get onto YouTube before we closed it for July, because the reason we close it is so it's just kept like really exclusive. So it's only available for like 1 week of each month or so. So yeah, it's closed today, and I really wanted to get on YouTube before it closed so I could, you know, talk to you guys about, you know, what's coming up and everything, but I literally just haven't had the time. I did actually try and film 2 days ago, but my camera said it had full battery and then just died mid-filming, so I was like, oh, like, yeah, I knew I wasn't going to get it on YouTube in time. So yeah, the Dark Arts Academy has closed as of today, the 10th of July, but I thought I'd talk about what we've got going on this month anyway, for those interested in perhaps joining next month. So this month we are focusing on money, wealth magic, as well as you know, self-development through magic. So, you know, this isn't just a case of like, oh, you know, how to get rich through magic. It's about developing yourself as well. So the spiritual development that you're doing mirroring the kind of material development as well. So lots to come on that, really exciting stuff coming up. And obviously if you miss a month, all of the everything we've done on there is available as soon as you sign up. So, you know, last month we did baneful magic, the month before that we did blood magic and pacts, and then before that we did defensive magic. So, you know, that we're building up this, you know, huge library of content. Also had some questions regarding the Dark Arts Academy regarding, is it suitable for beginners, is it beginner friendly? Yes and no. We cover content that is, you know, focused for kind of all levels, so, you know, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Obviously the Dark Arts Academy, it's in the name that, you know, it's quite an intense area of magic. We're focusing on the dark arts. There's a lot of like demonolatry and necromancy in there, which obviously isn't really beginner friendly, but you know, there is, for those who are interested in, you know, the left-hand path and developing their kind of journey on that, it is suitable for you regardless of like your kind of level. So there is content on there that is beginner friendly for those just starting off on the left-hand path. But as an alternative, we do also have the Bones and Nightshade Coven. Now the Bones and Nightshade Coven still does touch upon, like, you know, there's a whole spectrum of things that we cover on there, and it does touch upon, you know, some darker topics as well, but we don't go as intensive. We're not as intensive into the demonology and necromancy stuff on there. That's a very kind of small section of it. So, you know, for people who perhaps aren't interested in looking at, you know, the Dark Arts Academy right now and the content we have on there, the Coven is probably the best alternative for beginners right now. I've also had some feedback about, you know, people feel like they have very kind of specific needs with their mentoring, like, you know, specific stuff they want to learn and want to cover that they might worry isn't going to be covered in the Dark Arts Academy. So I do also offer private mentoring for that, whether that's demonology or basically anything like witchcraft or occult related. I offer mentoring for that as well. So all of this stuff is linked down in the description below. Now, my final announcement, sorry, I am going to get into the topic soon, but I have some big changes coming up in my personal life. I'm going back into education, I'm going back into studying. So this is going to be, you know, I'm basically doing like a full-time degree, and yeah, it's going to take up a lot of my time, obviously, goes without saying, but you know, this does mean that my availability and my services are going to decrease. So in terms of private spell work, that's gonna be really like so much more limited than it is right now. It's not going to be available to purchase, you know, straight away from the website, like the click of a button. It is going to entail you inquiring with me about it, and I will, you know, let you know my availability and whether I can take you on or not. It's gonna kind of work like, you know, I had that as a sort of older system I used to use where people would inquire and then I'd give them a quote. So that is going back to that. The spells are going to be taken down off the website, and it's going to be, you know, solely based on my availability. So yeah, that's a thing, but I am going to kind of try and accommodate people due to my, you know, more limited availability. So I'm going to start reintroducing group rituals once a month on the full moon, just so that, you know, if you can't get me for my availability with private spell work, the group ritual might be, you know, the next best option. But, you know, I think primarily my focus now, you know, with BlackWitchDirah is going to be into, you know, my educational stuff. So the Dark Arts Academy, the Coven, the mentoring, you know, this is the stuff that is going to be my main focus. Readings are still going to be available. Again, my availability will be slightly more limited, but yeah, I'm trying to move away from private spell casting because of the, you know, A, the time consumption of it, and B is like the bigger reason that's been sitting on me for basically the entirety of this year so far. So what I've been battling with the past 7 months in my head is whether my private spell casting aligns with my principles as a Luciferian, you know, my principles of self-empowerment and breaking out of slavery and the slave mentality and breaking out of victimhood, and, you know, this process of illumination and liberation. Like, I feel like it's sometimes this, if I'm casting a spell for someone to, I don't know, like a love spell that isn't really for their highest good, and I know that because I've done readings on it and I can, you know, hear it from their spirits and from my spirits that, you know, this isn't the best outcome here, you know, this isn't the best way forward. And it's like, I'm not carrying that kind of Luciferian message by doing that. It doesn't feel good here in my solar plexus. It's going against my truth. So that's another reason why I kind of want to transition over to where I actually feel like I'm carrying a message and something that, you know, aligns with my integrity. And you might be thinking like, Dirah, why are you casting spells for people if, like, you know, that you felt this way? Because I've got bills to pay. You know, when you've been surviving, making a living through this way for so long, you can't just suddenly back out of it because, you know, I fucking won't have a roof over my head. So, you know, I've had to find a way to slowly transition out of this, and this is kind of where it's happening now. And, you know, hence why I'm announcing this. And this doesn't mean I'm not going to do spells for you. It's just, you know, it's a case of my availability, and it's a case of also whether I feel like it's right or not. So this feels really, like, personally, this feels really good for me. This feels really good for me because it feels like I've got more autonomy. Something that Belial said to me recently was, do you control your business or does your business control you? Because right now it looks like the latter. And of course he was fucking right. And so yeah, this is me kind of breaking out of yet another prison that I've created for myself. But yeah, don't let that make you feel like you can't, you know, drop me an email and say, hi Dyra, I have this issue, would you be able to help me? The worst that's gonna happen is I say no, okay? I might say yes, I might say no, but yeah, I'm still here, I'm not going anywhere. It's just, I might be less accessible, let's say. So finally into today's topic, what has motivated me to speak on this is that we had a question in our Dark Arts Academy group chat that said, how do I know someone is my twin flame? Is there a way I can find out? And then I proceeded to leave about 5 or 6 voice messages explaining my views on this. And I was kind of like, I should just make a video about it because I've got so much to say on it. If you're someone like adept on the left-hand path, this video is probably going to be kind of useless to you because it's likely that you kind of know everything that I'm gonna say, or like that resonates with you as well. This video is more aimed at people kind of new to spirituality and some traps they might end up falling into with this whole twin flame ideology thing. So, you know, if you haven't figured out by now, the title of the video is clickbait. It's rare that people find spirituality and go straight onto the left-hand path and like the dark arts and stuff. That's usually something people like transition into later. But, you know, for like beginners who are like going into spirituality, when you enter that world online, there's a lot of traps you can fall into, and the kind of love and light community is one of those. And a kind of subtopic off of the love and light community is the subject of twin flames. So first of all, like, what is a twin flame? So a twin flame is supposedly like a soul mirror. It's someone that is meant to like complete you. They're your divine counterpart. You know, when you meet them, it's really intense connection, and you know, it's not necessarily an easy relationship. It can be, you know, it's challenging, but it's the way that, like, you know, you find unity with each other is by overcoming these challenges. And, you know, don't worry if it's toxic, it's just part of the twin flame connection. I've never heard anything more fucking codependency enabling in my whole life, right? It's basically an instruction manual for trauma bonding, which is like one of the most intense imprisonments that you can experience as a human being. It enables toxicity and maybe even abusive dynamics in your relationship because, you know, oh, they're just challenges typical of twin flame connections. Like, you know, we're gonna get through it because we're twin flames and we're meant to be together. And this whole thing of like, oh, how do I know if someone is my twin flame? The question I responded with is, why do you care? I don't say it like that, that's a little bit abrupt. I usually just say, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think that means? And why does it matter? Because if you have a meaningful connection with someone, why do you feel the need to put a label on it? Because it's like you're not confident within yourself that, you know, you're not confident in your heart that this is a meaningful connection, so you feel the need to put this label on it because, I don't know, maybe you don't trust your feelings, or you don't trust this other person, or you don't trust what's happening around you. So you need some kind of validation to fit this narrative that, you know, they are the person that you're meant to be with. And it's also such a limiting concept. Like, I am so fucking grateful that I have never met my twin flame. I don't want to, if twin flames are real, I don't really want to meet mine. Like, I don't want to be limited to one person for the rest of my life. That makes me feel trapped as fuck. And you know, the idea of a twin flame is that, like, they're your one true match and no one else is ever gonna fit into you like they do. Yeah, I don't like that. That scares me, and I just want to keep all that shit away from me because from my experience with relationships and this whole thing of focusing on like, oh, you're the one, oh my god, it nearly fucking killed me, man. Like, it's just, I just think it's one of the most painful things that you can experience as a human. You know, becoming like unhealthy attachments to other human beings, and it becomes an addiction that is like one of the most underrated, unspoken of addictions there is. Like, forget drugs, forget food, relationships, the chemical release in your brain of all that dopamine, all that oxytocin, that shit is addictive, and trauma bonds are addictive. You know, your brain gets addicted to stress and anxiety. You paint red flags green. So, you know, this whole thing about someone being your one true match, like, it's just such a dangerous trap to fall into. Another kind of subtopic of like I would say this kind of falls under the love and light community, because it falls under the idea of like manifestation, right? Like, manifestation has got so fucking out of hand. You know, it started off with the law of attraction, and then it became like this thing of like, I am the only person that actually exists, and I can control everything around me with my mind because I say so, and I need to be really careful about what I think about, because that manifests, and then I create my own reality. And like, there is some truth in it, but the thing is that the truth gets so far misinterpreted that it drives people fucking insane. And this whole twin flame thing, you can drive yourself insane over that. You can get spiritual psychosis. And this whole like love and light community, because it's in bright colors and it looks light, it seems so innocent, but it's deceiving. It's so deceptive and just manipulative, and it just has it can have such a huge damaging impact on you. So if you click this video because the video title is click this video to see if they are your twin flame, then yeah, you're not getting your answer here. But like, you need to think about why you want to know that, and how will you ever know that's the truth? Because the thing is that we become so blinded by the truth when our ego is so heavily attached to something. Because if twin flames are real, then they are a divine connection, right? And if something is divine, it implies it's spiritual, and it's not related necessarily like to the human ego. And it is your human ego that longs for that attachment, that longs for that, you know, sacred love. And you know, if you are so fixated upon that, you're just being misled. Your ego is misleading you into, you know, thinking like, because the ego likes to create a story, and so therefore you have this particular story or narrative in mind, and you know, that is making you fixated on this person, thinking that they're your twin flame. But how can that be so if your ego is so attached to that? There's no room for any kind of higher consciousness to come into that. So in order to find out who your twin flame is, I would say that it is impossible, and maybe not even a real thing. So it's a complete waste of time going down that rabbit hole, and I highly suggest you don't do it, because yeah, you're kind of asking for trouble and asking to drive yourself to insanity. So stay away from that rabbit hole, stay away from the cesspit that likes to, you know, basically enable trauma bonds. Also, if you think you're in love, you might be trauma bonded. If you've got, my suggestion to you, if you are watching this video and you know this is a big deal for you, and it's something that you've kind of you know, maybe had a bad experience with, or you know, you're really fixated on someone that, you know, you're thinking, oh my god, I don't know if they're my twin flame or not, do look into your attachment style, please. Look, because you most likely have an anxious attachment if you're obsessing over this, and look at how you can heal your anxious attachment style, because it's going to bring you misery, and you're creating an imprisonment of the self. So work on your anxious attachment style, work on healing yourself, so that this shit won't matter to you anymore and you can be free of it. That is my take on it, as a Luciferian and as someone who has worked on that stuff themselves. So I believe that is all I have to say on the twin flame subject. I hope that this video was enjoyable and that you maybe learned something. As I mentioned at the beginning of my video, the links are all down below in the description, so if any of those interest you, go check them out, and I will see you guys in the next one.